Okay, cool. We are recording now. Um, we are this team. We are this team. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna play it out initially. See who we pick. Wait, Busan raining? I have not even noticed the rain in Busan yet. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I am not very attentive at all.
Three, two, one. Round one.
Okay, cool.
Capture the
So the
objective.
first thing that I do is go over comps in any VOD. I go over comps first. Um, the first thing that we know is our comp. We're running the Ana, so we know that we need to play in LOS of our Ana if we want to get heals. That's specifically at UMonkey. And then our DPS can do DPS things, don't really have to rely on heals at all. First thing that I notice here is the fact that we're running the Lucio. Lucio has no real heal potential in the comp, but I guess he still fits. Um, you have to play Lucio as a kind of pivot. So Lucio can act as a DPS, go on hard dives, let's say, especially stacking with the Tracer, as well as potentially peeling for the monkey. Let's say if we play into a Reaper or something in like a complete monkey 5-man mirror. Um, on top of this, in fact, no, I'm gonna just play that out. I'm gonna just play that out. So Lucio, you have the hardest job in the sense that it's like the most unorthodox job. You don't play to how Lucio usually plays in this comp just simply because you have nothing to heal for. Um, but yeah. Okay, so at this point, first contact, we now know what the enemy team are running. They're running a form of Brawl because they have a Lucio. Their Curie is probably going to off angle in like the pre-fight just simply because um, she can afford to, right? Curie is more versatile, can take angles, whereas like Bap is better for like breaking shields and stuff like that. Um, hi. Sorry,
Hello.
yeah, hi. So basically all we've covered is comps. This doesn't really apply to you, but in this comp, our Lucio basically acts as a DPS alongside the Tracer and the Sombra. That's all I've covered so far. You haven't missed much. And now I'm speaking about the enemy comp. It's just a Brawl comp. They play to charge up the Zarya. Don't let the Zarya live in long fight, basically. Um, their Lucio and their Kiri is technically an undivable backline, but I'm gonna go into how we play into undivable backlines when we're on the monkey character. Okay, cool. Now this is just staging. We got a very easy pick there. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind this staging. Obviously, as the Sombra, you want to go for that mega control. You want to have that hacked as soon as possible, especially when you don't know um, what the enemy team are running, right? By default, you always want to control this cage side just because it's a good spot to stabilize in as well as potentially jump. Also, if we have a hacked mega here, even if your Ana is dived, we can easily rely on the fact that the mega is there. Um, and then obviously in the mid fight, when we're more in the open, this is where our Ana rotates safely and has freedom of like freedom, creative freedom basically. She can do whatever she wants there. Um, but we're just gonna play it out. This pick on the Lucio should just be our trigger to flip tempo, to be honest. I presume that they're going to naturally back up. I don't think that they take this fight because he died so early. I think they're just going to back and potentially go for a recontest. Lucio spawns back 5 seconds before a control point even opens up again, which means that they can genuinely just stall. Um, so they should probably back up. This should be a chance for you to push and force them even further back. If they don't decide to back, that initial pick, it should at least be an indicator to know that they won't hold W and go in, or just the console equivalent of holding W. But like, it also means that we can just take positions, take space. I don't know, even if we want to stage our monkey up here, our Ana closer to point, maybe even our DPS on point, whilst our Sombra holds like this lane or something by let's just say this zone here when the enemies are rotating in once again. Um, so just to reiterate, either walk and tempo control, you know, cleaning up kills, that type of vibe, or taking space, taking positions, taking angles. Those are our two options. We decide to fully commit to a fight here. Um, we get forced back as well. We're taking a long time to actually sustain our monkey here for whatever reason. I don't think our monkey should have pushed up here. I know Charisma, you're not playing here. Um, but
Not home.
yeah, our monkey shouldn't push up here, in my opinion. I think we just hold the choke just like a brawl. The reason why I say just like a brawl is because we technically do have brawl potential. Like the monkey, the Lucio definitely have brawl potential. The Ana is definitely something that can force triggers with nades and brawls and stuff like that. But the main thing is a team of 5 individuals always has more brawl than a team of 4 individuals, and obviously their Lucio is dead. So we can hold that choke. The reason why I'm specifying that in particular is because we take a lot of damage, not necessarily in our Ana LOS. Our Ana, don't be afraid to actually just like drop off of that high ground and play pretty much where I said. Any freedom, we have any freedom to go across anywhere here. Um, where we control is like it's solely based on our main tank's positioning. So if our main tank is here, just view anything behind our main tank as our area, um, and that will limit you a lot less. But yeah, we're very hesitant to leave our Ana spot here, even though there's no point. They can't dive on us because they don't have a dive team. Now this is the issue. We took a very long time. Our monkey, for whatever reason, decides to go to point, which is never really the best option. Even if our monkey was to kite here, be in cover, get healed up, and then be able to re-engage, at least we're holding more space. Based on the definition of the tank and the space control that I said before, our tank's back is turned here, which means we only have control of those two positions, really, really weak positions on the map, especially if we want to like hold positions. Um, and now they're able to control anything that's behind their tank, which is all of that angle, as well as, let's say there's an imaginary line, all of this angle. Do you notice how that one instance of our tank going to point here means that we've sacrificed so much of the map, and we no longer are playing for power positions. We're playing in the kill box of the enemy brawl. Kill box is the word I use for where the enemy brawl wants to brawl you out. There's a little square here, there's a box that they would love to take the fight, and we need to move from this area if we want to do well. We get point. That's fine. We kind of need to play around point and touches. I could ask this question, but I think I'm just going to state it instead. Sombra can touch for infinite amounts of time, especially in a pivot with Tracer, especially in a pivot with Lucio. These are the 3 that we want to hold the point the most. It's fine if Monkey wants to touch the point as well, but he's probably the 4th choice. I don't want our Ana to touch the point unless our Ana is the last alive. And Ana is already in close proximity and is closer to, or let's say the point is closer to stall than it would be to get back to spawn. Um, that is just on the instance of stalling. I have no issue with setting up our Ana here. Obviously, it just depends where our monkey is. If our monkey is on that high ground, of course we would want to put our Ana as far back as possible. Once again, think about the matchup. Zarya. Zarya can't just walk on the Ana without getting like blown up by the rest of our team. We can see Ana coming from a mile away. Not Ana coming. We can see Zarya coming from a mile away. Pause. We can just play this out. Right, cool. And basically, they took a lot of positions on the map. They were able to get a pick. We decided to trade the picks, so we were right in being explosive, being fast paced, jumping on something. But we were unable to do that, and they were just able to flip. Like, it would be best if Tracer just held point and the rest of our team tried to take positions, but because we are very, very passive initially, kind of screwed us over. One thing that I will say is in this comp, ooh, that really changes stuff actually. I've never seen a comp with these specific dynamics. Mm-mm. That's interesting. So I was gonna say, Cassidy is obviously the easiest person to hit in this comp in terms of a dive. But I also teach about like pseudo dives, so the target that seems to be the most logical to hit, but when you do deeper analysis, they're probably not the most logical to hit. So if I'm to explain that point, Cass has low mobility. He will die if we all go on him. However, a key part of the point is a key part of the comp, sorry, is the fact that they have Kiriko. And if we look at how to play the comp properly, the enemy Kiriko is meant to Suzu the Cassidy. So what I tell my high level players, what I tell my top 100s, whatever, I coach like top 12 team in NA for Open Division. Um, what I tell them is to hit the Lucio, because the second we start diving on the Lucio, Lucio is surprisingly squishy. He has the knockback, he has the amp. These are all like vital cooldowns to force in general. But on top of this, if the Suzu gets used on the Lucio, then it makes the second hit on the Cass a lot easier. And the reason why I paused momentarily, the reason why I am a bit skeptical of that point, is because I've never seen a Lucio Kiri cast set up with a Zarya also. And so I've not been super experienced in this matchup. I can't tell you how the bubbles and the potential to peel that way is going to affect the actual hits themselves. But we could definitely try it out. We definitely don't want to jump on the Zarya, because then that's how the Cassidy pops off and that's how the Tracer pops off. Um, it might even be worth trying to hit stuff that you know that the Zarya can't see. Anything. Um, but as this plays out, I might actually be able to work out a better strategy than that. It's not my fault that they're playing quite an unorthodox compare. This isn't a matchup we see every single day. But we're trading. Be careful, Lucio, because if that's a good Tracer and if that's a good Zarya, you die here. The fact that you don't stack under with the Mega, especially if we had Mega control, which we should do if we have a Sombra, I'm not gonna lie, that should be hacked. Um, you need to stack here, because that Tracer, if that Tracer is good, if you wanna sign up for Open Division and stuff like that, Tracers are going to kill you, bro. Like they're going to delete you in this situation. Um, this is a scrappy fight. Things aren't dying. That's Suzu been used, but we don't seem to react to it. We really need to react to these triggers. Whether these are rotational triggers, so someone's momentarily out of position, we need to jump on it. If Suzu's popped, we need to jump on it. If we get one pick, we need to jump on it. We just need an excuse to go in, and we can prolong the fight for as long as possible until we have that excuse. All you have to do is live until you have an excuse to go in. Same applies with Junker Queen meta. That is the most mind-numbingly boring meta that there is. But you'll realize that fights actually end super quick. The second someone forces Suzu first, like the second Suzu's pop, that the fight just ends. We get a pick. We get a pick. Yeah, we are definitely slow on these things. Just ignore that. Um, we are definitely slow on these things. Tracer, I want you to be more objective focused. So if you want to force points, you know, by forcing point, you're forcing the Zarya to walk. Because Zarya is probably the person that's going to touch on the enemy comp. Not that they should do. The Lucio should probably be the first to touch, if not the Tracer, or the other way around. Tracer first to touch, if not the Lucio. Um, but if you force cart or if you force point as much as possible, Tracer, either you get point control so frequently for your team, or Tracer contests, and now you're just in a one-on-one. If the rest of their team peels and decides to take a 2v1 on you, that's when we take angles and we inevitably win the fight. If we're on high ground and they're trying to contest you here, then we win that. Like, they're actually throwing. Tracer, I want you to be on point as much as possible. Sombra, I want you to be hacking these health packs and also setting up for the triggers. If we hack something, we go on that. If we hack something, we go on that. The same way that I said if someone dies, we have to go on it. They've now gone to a diva. The diva matchup is so much easier to explain in terms of coaching than the Zarya matchup. The diva matchup is more self-explanatory because we see this matchup a lot more frequently. Monkey, you're gonna struggle into diva because she can burst you down like super heavy. But basically, we take positions. I always use the example of an imaginary circle around the diva. The imaginary circle depicts the defense matrix. Okay? That is uncontestable grounds. If we go on that, we die. If we go on that, nothing on their team dies. But this circle follows Diva no matter where she goes. So if Diva decides to take high ground, she's sacrificing a whole bunch of space and area control wherever she's leaving from. She has 4-second cooldowns on the boosters. She cannot help this teammate for another 4 seconds. That's not the greatest example because she could just drop down. But let's say she used boosters, I don't know, from main up until here. Yes, cool. She's now controlling the entire midsection and it's kind of hard to get past her. But if we do manage to get past her in that 4-second period, we probably get a free pick on their backline. I'm gonna point the moments where we can hit out. Also, I will say, back on this variant back in Overwatch 1, um, the Sombra player would look to hack the Diva. And when we got the hack on the Diva, obviously the hack was slightly different. It was more of a 6-second no ability, you know what I mean? Um, but when we hacked the Diva, it wasn't actually the Diva that we would hit, it would be the Monkey. Because obviously we would play it with like a Reaper as well as a, I don't know, the Reaper Tracer, let's just say. There's lots of different variations. But we would hack the Diva and then shoot the Monkey. And the reason why I tell you this is because it gets you into the habit of thinking critically. Just because we see the Diva's getting hacked, if we hack Diva out of boosters, we might just be able to view that as, okay, that cooldown's reset. We now have 4 seconds to hit somewhere completely different. We don't need to shoot what's being hacked. We don't need to do that. By the way, feel free to bump in, you know, I mean, like if you disagree with something that I say, if you don't understand something that I say. Even like genuinely, if you disagree with something that I say, speak on it because we might even be able to work something out. You'd be surprised how many times people have said, actually, like this has happened, or actually the comms were this, so it made us all do this, you know. Um, and obviously I can't hear comms in a replay viewer, so it's like actually genuinely helpful your feedback and stuff like that.
I just want to like know what to do on Sombra because I don't play Sombra, but I just been playing her in scrims because I felt like she was too good not
Not
to
to.
have as a
Mhm.
like option for your team.
Yeah.
So what I've been trying to do is like force out cooldowns so then my tank and my tracer can dive
Mhm.
after those cooldowns are used. But then I'm not really sure if that's what I should be doing or like what my role actually is.
Yeah.
I just want to like
So
what I'm meant to be doing.
primarily hacking health packs really really helpful. Playing around those health packs, letting your Ana know which health packs you're hacking as well, really really helpful. Um, but like I said, this comp is about going on to things, whether it's things that happen naturally or things that are forced. So your hacks are going to be one of the easiest ways to go on something. If you hack a wall riding Lucio, we will kill that Lucio if everyone jumps on him. Like, do you get that? Forcing abilities or giving your team something to go on, and then you're doing your job. Completely fine, to be honest. I have no issue with that. Like that's pretty much it in its most simplified version.
狐の鍵爪を解き放てボムステーキ
Vamos esculachar! Vamos esculachar!
ボムステーキ
Vamos esculachar! Vamos esculachar!
Sorry, I just don't really know why we beat. That's a very nice beat, by the way.
Oh, let's break it! Damn!
Okay, cool. From a macro sense, I don't like the beat. However, when I go to your POV, it makes sense. And as a Lucio player myself, I think I would do the exact same thing. The Kitsune and the Tracer, you don't want people randomly dying, especially in trades. That Lucio death might be the difference between a lost fight and a won fight. But typically, you want to save your ults for counter beat. Like, you want to beat after the enemy Lucio beats. We in this matchup in particular, beating a Blossom is kind of risky. Beating to take tempo, like if we want to speed in and we want to beat, that's fine, but don't do that if the enemy also has beat, because then they'll just counter beat it. If they Kitsune rush, I have no issue with you trading that beat either, especially if you're gonna die. So overall, I'd say that that beat is a viable beat. But initially, I thought that was bad. That's just an example of like my first initial thoughts being wrong, but like I definitely understand it from your perspective. That's so unfortunate. But you die there even if you like press Q for the beat, so um that's just unfortunate. That's a good point as well that I've literally now just thought of.
They have superior numbers.
Yeah. Right. It's something that I pointed out briefly before, and it's just how far back our Anna is playing. Obviously, we've gone from here to here. And this is not a bad trait to have. Like, I would rather my Anna play super safe than, I don't know, be standing here and dying in the Death Blossom. But just know that in certain instances, in good against good tracers, if they realize that you're isolating yourself like that, they will go for you and they will kill you. And the reason why this is bad, particularly with Ana, especially if we're not running Ana Kiri and we're running Ana Lucio, is the second tracer ints on you and you turn, Monkey dies instantly, because Monkey has to have a complete like constant pocket. It's bad enough that they're able to defense matrix it and they have a Reaper, um, but there's the attention trading is just is very bad. Like if the tracer goes on you, like our Monkey does. So in certain instances, I genuinely wouldn't mind you playing still outside of the Diva diveable range, but at least playing in an area where people can peel for you, because technically that's also Lucio's job. I hate having to explain Lucio's job in this comp to Lucio players because he doesn't really have a job, which means that he also has to do everything because it's like you need to fill your brain up with like tasks. And like you need to escort your tank. Then I don't know, you can play for boops on the enemy Reaper, just creating distance for the entire time, and then that's good. Or you could stack with your tracer and go on to dives. If you're getting picks, then that's also good. Or you could stay on your Anna, presuming that your Anna is slightly closer in, and hard pill for her. That's also good. Lucio has like a very very fluid job, and you can do pretty much any of them. It kind of gets more complicated because you know eventually there'll be times where it's like you have to do certain things for it to be correct, and then it goes into like phases of the fight and stuff like that. But yeah, Lucio is very very complicated on the Lucio monkey comp, genuinely. Um, but yeah, I would like my Anna playing slightly closer here, just into peelable range, just because um, she could genuinely just die to the tracer. Even if she doesn't die, the second she turns to the tracer, monkey dies. So um, just because they're running the diva as well, people that are viable here, Moira. That may sound stupid considering you guys are high level players, but Moira, remember, was the flex support in Overwatch 1, the first ever iteration of the 6-man comp. Well, we're not running 6-man right now because we have an Ana, but by switching to Moira, it becomes a 6-man comp, an OG 6-man comp, which is basically just 5 characters or 6 at the time that could like hard dive onto someone where we speed in and then use our movement abilities to get out. Moira is actually very good in this matchup because she can heal through the defense matrix, um, as well as live dives herself. Tracer can't just go on her because she has the fade, which is interesting. Kiriko also works, but Kiriko can have her heals eaten by defense matrix. I genuinely think that Moira is in a decent state right now as well. So right now, I would be considering the Moira, genuinely, and the only thing that changes is that Lucio has to play on heals predominantly, um, and that's just because Moira has very limited sustain resources. Another thing, Lucio, if you're playing against the Sombra in the mid fight, the same way that I said it's your job to boop the Reaper and create distance, it's also your job to mark the Sombras. You don't want our tracer. You don't want your tracer or your Sombra marking the enemy Sombra, just because if our Sombra if our Sombra and our tracer are on the backline, they're gonna get more value than just negating the Sombra value. So if you can do that, and if you can mark an enemy Sombra, that would be like very very helpful for our DPS line.
Apagando las luces. Fuego con fuego.
Can't stop me now!
We do love a boostio. It's a scrappy fight, but I don't know why your tank isn't walking. Okay, fine. Fine. Not bad.
Four, three.
Honestly, that was a very, very good first point. That first point literally took like 30 minutes, which I really like to see. Okay. Right now, we have a Ramatra comp, and we decide to go cast Mei, OG Brawl. That's completely fine. That is kind of a commitment to the front line. If we run a Mei, that means okay, we're trying to burst down this tank. Unfortunately, they have a tank that cannot be burst down, which might be an issue. It might mean that our Cassidy goes on a bit more off angles, tries to get those sight lines on the Lucio, on the BAP, maybe even. Actually, let me not even say that yet because I'll say that eventually. So Cass, you can look for off angle, um, not super hard off angles. This would be fine as an off angle, for example. I really like Hanzo in this comp because Hanzo can go on off angles like this. Obviously, Cass can't do that. Cass can go on off angles like this. We play it out. You lose the tank line battle, just simply because they have an Orisa and a Reaper. But it doesn't seem to be planning out that way, so I'm just gonna... Okay, cool. Can someone tell me what the I almost gave you the answer here. Can someone tell me what the win condition is, or what win condition I've just spotted that we failed to capitalize on? Anybody at all? If no one speaks, I'll just say it. Okay, cool. Right. So things that you should look out for: Ice Block being popped and Wraith being popped, as well as tracking the Orisa cycles, because if the second Orisa wastes or ruins her cycle, that's when we can blow her up. But in the meantime, we want to be trying to force the Ice Block and force the Reaper, Wraith, because in certain instances, if that happens, we can literally walk past the Orisa and just delete those people, stabilize, and then go in again. Ice Block and Wraith are the two things that give these DPS characters so much survivability. So the second that they're out is when we can walk. Brawl comp, any form of brawl, whether that's Reinhardt or Ramatra, all focused on triggers. Same with monkey comp, things that we look to go onto. Obviously, brawl plays in closer proximity for like the entire time, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a poke phase. This is why I personally like Hanzo in brawl. I personally prefer Hanzo to Cassidy, just because with a Hanzo, and especially a Ramatra, we can just rotate around the map. We can chill, we can chill, we can chill. But then the second they force Ice Block, the second our Hanzo lands a lucky headshot on the Mei and the Mei has to Ice Block, that's when we just speed in. Do you see what I'm saying? Um, Thanks, that cash app thing just came through, by the way. I presume that was you. I presume that was you, unless someone just sent me randomly, which I'll take as well.
No,
Oh,
I tried to send it, and it keeps saying your thing couldn't go through. So it either is lying, and it sent you $30 12 times, or it wasn't me.
oh wait, oh my god. Okay, cool. I've just read because wait, no way. Cash App international payments are currently not supported. Okay, cool. We'll figure that out after. Okay, we'll figure that out
Oh,
after.
okay, yeah. I was wondering why that wasn't working.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I would have taken all 12 of those payments though. Exponentially, I would have just taken them. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
But
please don't do
no, no,
that.
no,
I
no,
might
no.
be
I
able to
won't.
do
I
it.
won't. I won't. No. But
We'll
yeah.
figure something out.
Sorry, what was that?
I
Yeah,
just said
yeah.
we'll figure.
We'll figure something out. Yeah, we failed to go on the Wraith. We went in and then we just died. Best things to force Wraith. Great amounts of burst damage. Like a Cassidy headshot, a Mei headshot, Cassidy nade. What's quite interesting right now is Cassidy forces Reaper not to be able to Wraith. So the second that we get a stick onto the Reaper, gives us a 2 second period of time where we can blow up the Reaper and he genuinely can't do anything. So we have to act like Reaper has popped Wraith before Wraith even goes through if we land a stick. And that's interesting because we've not seen anything like this, and this is just like a new development with Cassidy, and that's a completely new interaction that Cassidy has with Reaper, which is pretty cool. Yeah, just die fast. That's fine. You're gonna lose the
What?
tank clan battle if sorry, what was that, Charisma?
I was just gonna ask, like, what comps have you been playing? Like, what's meta right now? Because I have no idea.
On the big recording that's gonna go on YouTube. No, I'm joking. I like. Genuinely, I think Junker Queen comps are still strong, and I'm good at coaching them, so I've been doing that. I've also been a fan of the Ramatra, but if you follow my coaching, you know that I also believe that Ramatra and Reinhardt are equally as good. It's literally just a personal preference thing. So, Ramatra Hanzo comps, Reinhardt Hanzo comps. Obviously, If we have any Bastion players, I'm more than happy to break out the Bastion rule as well. And also Monkey Comp. I don't mind the Monkey Comp, and maps like Ilios, Diva is fine as well. Like the there's a lot of options. We're in the second most balanced state that Overwatch has ever been in right now, I think. Um, it's just Mei is kind of dictating meta a bit like Juncture Green was the meta before, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Typically in this matchup, I wouldn't play what I was what you're playing. If you want to make changes to this comp, like I said, probably run the Hanzo. But you didn't hear it from me. But like, if we're playing against the Mei, I will just tell my team to go Hanzo Echo and force Ice Block like constantly, even if that means changing tank, you know, and literally just playing slow. We'll Ana Kiri if we have to, even if we have to have an Ana, an Echo, and the Hanzo just to force that Ice Block. We will run that. Like, that's kind of the logic that I do right now, because especially right now, your comp. Let me see. What would I run here?
So
Um,
just we don't like May.
sorry.
So just like we don't like May. We want to hurt May.
Oh yeah, don't we all like we just really want to hurt Mei badly, cripple
What would
her.
we run instead of Echo? Because Echo isn't very console friendly. You can't aim while flying on console.
Yeah, that's very true actually. Um, Ash, I like Ash. I like Ash a lot, but then I also like having elements of poke and dive and brawl into all of my comps. So if we're running Hanzo, I wouldn't want to run Ash as well. I view Ash and Hanzo as like the same kind of role. Do you see how that works? Um, so Ash Dynamite is the thing that forces Ice Block or Wraith, whereas a Hanzo Headshot is the thing that forces Ice Block or Wraith. Um, Echo can play very very pokey as well, to be fair, but like you said, you don't want to play Echo.
And can place Echo. Can play Echo actually.
That was quite laggy. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hear a word of that.
I think Crimson can actually play Echo.
Okay.
I think he changed around some binds or something.
Um, let me even think. Let me think. Let me think. Map control. Technically, Sojourn as well is not bad, but Sojourn's not bad. But again, it has to rely on building rail and then hitting the rail, you know. Whereas Ash is like, I can stand miles away and just kind of tap at you until you're forced to, you know.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be easy to get the rail with Orisa though?
Yeah.
Like you can
Well.
just
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I guess, but like, these are all just options. Um. In terms of actually forcing something else out, what else is explosive? Anything divey? Nah, because even with Junker Queen, I think the things that forced the ice blocks out were genuinely just Ash, Hanzo, Echo, that sort of line. And then the Genjis, the Tracers, the Sombras were the utility that kind of cleaned up after the Ice Block has been forced. So I don't think dive characters are very good for forcing Ice Block, personally. But the bursty damage ones are, even if you want to get creative and play like a Junkrat, technically that fits into my like, you know, that fits into my theory of like one map control burst damage, you know, to force the ice block. Like, um, you have a lot of options. Basically, someone that deals a lot of damage in an instant hit, like boom, 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 as opposed to someone like Soldier that like tick, 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 unless you hit a helix. But again, like, why would you run Soldier in this meta when there's like everything, literally every other DPS in the game is probably better than him right now, but. Ram is genuinely not bad. Ram is genuinely not bad. Ah, okay, cool. So you've gone Reaper. That's not gonna help for the front ever tank line battle either. Orisa is the only tank that can live longer than Ramatra. Reaper. mirroring Reaper, mirroring DPS whilst having a higher sustained tank isn't gonna work. You literally need to revolve around the Mei as your win condition, genuinely. So the thing that sticks out to me in this comp is in this situation you don't necessarily need the speed. Like I said, run the Ana. So you could run Ana Kiri, or you could run Lucio Ana. Lucio Ana, why? Because BAP is very, very good into shields, very good into Ramatra, very good into Reinhardt, decent into Monkey, like survivable, can burst down the bubble. But right now we're not playing into shields. What is BAP doing in this comp other than spamming heals? Ana can do that, right? Ana has a better ult. So why don't we just run the Ana, cycle nades on the Mei, force the ice block, walk on the Mei? Do you see? That's literally the win condition. It's as simple as that. Like, that's the only thing we can do here. Like, if I was getting creative, I would probably run um, Diva, Echo, Ash/Hanzo, and then Anakiri, and then literally just play for 5 different angles because they can't walk on all 5 of us, while simultaneously being able to spam out the Reaper, spam out the Mei. Um, yeah, spam out the Mei, and then Echo can even be a sort of dive pivot as well. Echo can play for poke and dive. She's a hybrid character. That's what I would do, but that's very, very creative, and that's literally hard counter comping. Yeah, like it's hard counter comping, and that's not like good for defaults. You should never roll out on something presuming that someone's gonna play a certain thing unless you're playing like a well-known one-trick team and you've been practicing for it. Um, but yeah, just make any random switches, any variations. The Ana here would be probably the best pick. And Ana would sleep that. Like, do you guys see how we're kind of committing to a frontline duel against a tank that we just can't win the frontline battle against?
It feels
I
like
see it.
I can't really shoot at anything whenever we're doing this stuff,
Hmm.
and whenever I go to shoot stuff, I like can't do it without risking my life.
Yeah. So does playing Ana not make sense? Like, just nades in general. Like,
Yeah, it does. It
yeah.
means that we can play off of stuff and then shut things down easier. So
Okay, cool, cool.
冻住，不许走！
Vamos esculachar!
Yeah, they're just able to match everything. And we don't touch. Okay, cool. That's a very, very quick map, but we identified a clear cause. We played the wrong thing. We identified the wrong win condition. Um, it's never wise to shoot Ursa. It's never wise to shoot Ursa. Um, playing Doom into an Orisa as well is very creative. I don't really understand that. I guess you could ignore her, just jump on the thing behind her, force her to turn, try and spin you away, and in turn sacrifice in space. Okay, I somewhat see it. I see it. We have to be very smart about things though. It's not like a very clear counter. Like, it's not counter picking. It's not a counter. Is more a change in play style. Um, this comp works almost identically to the monkey comp that we said prior. Just know that now our Kiriko can play more for damage. In the pre-fight, let's say, because obviously Ana can't hard off angle. Kiriko can. Kiriko can TP. Um, Ideally, we don't want our Kiriko ever having to TP in because, especially if we're all diving, Kiriko is gonna end up in the middle of the enemy team, and that's how we die. So when I'm playing, my Tracer, is that her teeth? Oh my god, that's crazy. Anyways, uh, when I am coaching a Tracer playing team, especially with a Kiriko, if our Kiriko needs help, I don't want my Tracer or anybody on the team, even my Lucio, stacking on the Kiriko. I would rather you create a complete off angle, a complete gap between you and Kiriko and call for the TP. Imagine, Lucio, if you're playing here and things are getting bad, we can't run away, but you can run away. It would be good for you to maybe amp heal your Kiriko, let's say, sustain her for enough. Then absolutely bolt it here onto point where she can TP and get straight back into getting value. Because she now has LOS on the enemy team. That would be brilliant because you saved her life as well as given her a flexible angle. An angle that allows her to constantly get value. She's getting value here. She TP's out. She's instantly getting value here. So not only do I want you to look for a safe TP out, I want you to look for safe TP outs. I put the S on the wrong word in that sentence. TP's out. That will also allow her to get instant value after the TP. And that's like high level stuff. That is like touching on top 20 team sort of territory, you know, like um we'll play out. See?
The objective is now.
Do you notice how our Kiri was forced to TP in? We don't want that. Because she's now low and in close proximity to Orisa. She is going to die. Yeah. Whereas, think about how long she lived there. She lived for another 5 seconds. If she was able to TP out here, if someone was here, obviously presuming that people are still alive, it would allow us for a sightline. It will allow us for a wall climb. It will allow us for hard cover. It will allow us to peek our Doom, still heal the Doom. I love playing with Kiri. Genuinely, I think Kiri is such a good character and it's so fun to coach. You can be aggressive as possible, especially if your team gets good at the dive comps. I tell my Kiriko players, they honestly, you think they're a DPS. Like you would think they would. My Kiris end up like here. Like I don't know how they do it. They would just end up there and they kill 3 and stuff like that. But like that's you have to be heavily dependent on the fact that your team will live. And I tell my Kiriko players once again, because we kind of hard one-tricked Kiriko for a while. The tank that we're playing with kind of dictates how hard we can off-angle, how hard we can go in. Someone like Doom that could die instantly, we kind of need to play more for heals. But someone like Orisa, you can leave her alone for 10 seconds at a time. If our Orisa holds space and doesn't necessarily look for brawls, you can just hard off-angle. You can let your Orisa just stay there for free and then turn to her every 10 seconds, throw a set of tickets, and then go back to off-angling. It's really dependent on the comp. But like I said, in this situation, off-angle first, but always be in a position where you can heal. Play for LOS the same way that you would with Ana, because ideally you don't want to TP towards the Doom. So we're going ball. So we're playing for hard dives. Against a team that bunkers. This is another thing. Right. If there's a BAP and there is an Orisa or a Diva, arguably a Brig also, do not view them as brawl comps. They are not brawl comps. There's something very similar called bunker comps. And obviously in Overwatch 1, bunker comps sometimes had bastions, they had the shields and stuff like that. But an Orisa, a BAP, especially with a Mei Reaper, in this room, will kill you. They're not going to die. They're not going to die in this room because they're bunkered up. Right? The second we force the bunker into open space and take angles, that's how we win. It's interesting because we've gone ball comp. But really, if we want to win this, which we can, ball is decent into this comp, other than the fact that they have the Mei Freeze and the Reaper, which is going to be an issue. We can win this by taking 5 separate angles. Right. I've spoken to Charisma about the art of triangles in the past. We're about to start cooking. With poke comps, I know we've hit the hour, and I don't know if you guys have to go, but I'll try and make these last 2 minutes really quick. We started 10 minutes late. Um, but with poke comps, with dive comps, we want to create triangles amongst ourselves, especially with the ball. Ball is the point of the triangle that is fluid, movable. So right now we have a very, very tight triangle. As you can see, there's 3 points of contact there. But then ball moves, ball dives in. That's still a triangle. 3 people. Our Lucio's creating one. Our Tracer's creating one. Our Sombra's creating one. The fact that we're running a 5-man dive with ball technically means that we can play in pentagons, and this is where it gets super, super complicated, and I'm not going to go into that. But we can create a pentagon around them, we can create triangles, we can create a square. We can just create a whole bunch of these random shapes because we have 5 very hypermobile characters. And this works the same way with poke. The idea is just to attack from all sides. Like I said, Mei Reaper is hard anti-tank gameplay.
So are we just splitting their focus then while we're all going on the same person?
Literally splitting their focus from all 5 angles whilst shooting at the exact same person. That is the logic between behind triangles, squares, rhombuses, diamonds, pentagons. It's most prevalent with triangles, obviously, because let's say if we're running like a Ramatra, you could still create a triangle between, I don't know, an Ash, a Kiriko, and a Tracer. Do you see how that would be a triangle of 2 poke and 1 dive? Like, it's the exact same thing, but because our tank is also hypermobile, technically it's all 5 of us creating these shades around people. Um, so really, what I would do in this situation is I would kind of match a tank with high survivability. Even something like Orisa, even something like Ramatra. Ramatra stays on point, which drags all of these people out of this little bongo room. They can test points, but that's good because now they're all in open space. If we have an Ash, if we have a Sojourn, if we have a Soldier, if we have a Kiriko, if we have a Zen, do you notice how all of these characters will literally just kill this short range comp now that they're in the open? We make them come to us. We do not go to them, because if we go to them in an enclosed space, we die. Just 100% of the time. It's crazy. Maps like this are very good for Sojourn. Very good for Hanzo. Very good for Kiriko. Very good for Zen. Anna Zen on this map, beautiful. Anna into a bunker comp, if we land an aid, it actually gives us something to go on, potentially. Now imagine from the get-go, if we walk like that, identified Orisa, oh no, we swing around here, we go straight to point, and we play back of point. If we have people like Kiriko playing back of point, if we have people like Tracer Sombra playing here and here, where can they go? They're gonna have their entire team hiding behind that one drum, whilst our Orisa does the exact same thing, hides behind that drum. Our Orisa stays, cool, we'll just sit on point until it's 0-0 and you get bored and rage quit the game, you know what I mean? They're not gonna come to this side of the drum, whereas we can take angles behind their side of the drum because we have the mobile DPS. They don't have the mobile DPS. We have a tank that can chill here, but they don't have DPS capabilities to walk all the way around without inting. Do you see how that works? This has actually been a fairly decent VOD. This is like one of the best codes I've ever been given in terms of content, because I've given you 3 varying advice like for the 3 different maps, and they're all quite like high level stuff, to be honest. The whole triangle theory, square theory, pentagon theory gets a lot more in depth because there's actually like, you know, micro plays, there's strategy, there's set plays to that. But in this situation, me telling you the intention and just taking hard angles is fine. Like it works. In my opinion, although the Sombra and the Tracer are fine, I would be looking at the effective range of the enemy DPS, identifying that they're short range, and I would personally go for the Orisa, like I said, as a space holder and only a space holder, literally just AFK on the point. because then they have to come to you. But then other than that, I would literally play the 2 DPS as poke. I would even bank on going 2 poke DPS, even though I don't like doing that. Or we could have like 2 hybrid, like Sojourn Echo that can literally both play full mobility as well as poke damage.
Catch you later.
Yeah, like you don't play bad. You identify win conditions, and they're viable win conditions if you play them perfectly. But what I'm doing is I'm showing you that you can be a lot lazier when it comes to counter picking. Like you don't need to think that deep about stuff, genuinely. Like you can make easier picks. It's as simple as, oh, they have short range DPS, we'll play long range DPS, and we'll force them to play into short range or into long range areas. You know, if we play long range DPS, of course we're not gonna walk into a short range area. Like you just need to identify the correct things. Be a little bit more smart, because overall it's less work. What I'm telling you to do is less work than making this ball comp work into it. Like this is actually quite a difficult comp to run, just simply because the ball is hard counted. Why not play a comp where there's no hard counters? You know, like to me it's just logical, but it's definitely not bad gameplay. You're definitely a good team. Let me just close it out here. Oh, people are 1. This is unironically winnable. That's so unfortunate. Bap died, but we just can't kill Orisa. I think there was a bit too much target prio on the Orisa there. Orisa doesn't die. Maybe Orisa dies when the Bap dies, but people were shooting the Orisa before. But yeah, I guess this is the end of your VOD. Hopefully it was helpful.